Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing 3 new drugstore launches. 1 is a concealer and 2 are powders. So if you want to see what happens and if they cover up these 2 big pimples on my face, then keep on watching. So about 3 or 4 months ago, NYX released the Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. I reviewed it. I'll link it below. I'll probably put it up here. And it's an amazing foundation. I am not going to be using it in this video because I basically am like, there's like no self-tan left on me. There's like a tad, but that's it. So I did get 2 of the lightest shades when it comes to the powder. They released this NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop setting powder and the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer. This is in the shade Light, and then this is in the shade Light Ivory 04. I think there was 2 shades, 1 or 2 shades lighter than this, but I kind of went with this one because in store it just seemed like it would be better fitting for what shade I am now, so we shall see. I did get the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder Foundation. This is in the shade 112 Natural Ivory. I did, again, review the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Foundation. I think that came out over a year ago. And this is also in the shade 112 Natural Ivory. So I will be using this foundation today. I'll put the foundation on momentarily. But I do want to clarify something because I tried to record this video 3 days ago and I just wasn't happy with the footage and the way things turned out, and it really had nothing to do with that. I was reviewing something else that I will keep out of this video because it really doesn't have anything to do with the makeup. It was a beauty sponge. But anyway, this video isn't just a first impression because I have tried these 3, actually just the 2. I haven't used the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder, but over the past couple days I have reached for these and used these, so I can go more in depth with how I feel about these products instead of just it being a first impression, because technically I did do a wear test over the past couple of days. So stay tuned for my, I guess I'll talk about it in my outro or when I'm putting it on. So let's just go ahead and get this foundation on my face so I can put these products on and tell you what I've noticed. So here we go. I am already primed, so let's just pop this foundation on. And again, I'm using the Can't Stop. Wow. I'm using the Maybelline Superstay foundation, 2 pumps. Here we go. Before I put the concealer on, I want to tell you what I've noticed as far as oxidation and coverage and things like that. So when I swatched this in the store, I swatched it in Ulta and I put several of the shades on my hands. I did kind of forget about them being on my hands, so I kind of went about my day and went to the store and whatnot. When I looked back down at my hand, which was about an hour or 2 later, I noticed it was much darker on my hand than when I swatched it. But I don't feel like when I put it under my eyes that it kind of changed to that color. So I do think once it's blended out, it doesn't look as oxidized. But when I first put it on and it dried, I'm like, holy shit, that's like dark compared to what this shade is. And again, this is in the shade Light Ivory 04. When it came to the Maybelline Powder Foundation, I wanted to get it in the same shade as the foundation. This is in 112 Natural Ivory. So I'm like, obviously I want to get the Maybelline powder in the 112 as well. I do feel like this is lighter. They don't really match in shades. As far as when I put this on, this is a tad darker than this one. So I actually feel like I could go a shade darker in this in order to match this more. But I'm going to be trying it out on camera again. I wore this by itself yesterday, loved it. My husband loved it. It isn't as full coverage as, say, like the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation, but it does give nice coverage. And it's nice for days where you don't want to wear a lot of makeup, but you want to look a little bit flawless, you know what I'm saying? So I did like it by itself. So let me try again with the foundation. Since I haven't really wore this NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder a second time because I reached for this instead of this, I think I'm going to set one eye with the NYX and then one eye with the Superstay just to kind of be able to compare the two. So let's go ahead and pop the concealer on. I'm going to go ahead and get my powders ready so that I can set my under eye quickly so that it won't crease as bad, or if it creases at all. And I do want to say with the NYX powder, it does have this sifter, but in the lid, it has this weird, I don't know if you can see, let's see if I can get you to see it, this weird kind of like platform thing in the middle where it makes it hard to kind of dump the product in. And then I feel like once I kind of shake it up, a lot of the product doesn't really come out. Let me kind of show you. After shaking that up, that's all that really came out, which isn't a lot. I'm kind of used to more powder coming out after you shake a product, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like a lot of powder didn't come out, and then you can't I mean, once you get it in there and then try and put it back, you waste product and it's kind of messy. But we're gonna see. Let's test it out again. The concealer blends out so easily, and this shade gives me a nice highlighted, lifted effect, which I like that. Let's see if it covers these zits on my face. I feel like it does crease pretty quickly, but that just could be my under eye, who knows. I might just need to moisturize more before putting this on. So I am taking it and blending it out a little bit more. I'm going to set with the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop on this eye. Trying to get a little bit more out. But again, it's kind of, it's different. And then I'm going to turn my beauty blender around and set my other eye with the Maybelline. I'm actually then going to go back and set the rest of my face. So I'm going to do half and half. Calm down. I'm going to go ahead and set the rest of my face with the NYX on this side. And then turning my beauty blender around and setting the rest of my face with the Maybelline. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what this looks like for yourself. Hold on one second. So right off the bat, I feel like this side is a little more flawless in my opinion. I'm not a fan of what it's doing under my eye on this side, that NYX powder. It's more creasy. It's dry. I might take back what I said about this powder not being a good shade, like matching the foundation, because I do feel like it actually kind of matches the foundation really well, whereas the other day when I put it on, I thought it was a lot lighter. But today it's doing different things. I'm not sure if I really like it as setting underneath of the eye. I feel like it's heavy underneath of the eye. So maybe taking now on this side I do feel like it's lighter, but I really don't like what it's doing under the eye. It looks like it's cracky and settling in all my fine lines and wrinkles, drying. I'm not really liking what it's done over here. As far as the rest of my face with the Maybelline, God, I need to do my nails. I feel like it looks pretty on the skin, which I think the past, you know, every time I've kind of used it, it's looked pretty on the skin. It's not as full coverage, like I said, as the, say, MAC powder foundation. Sorry, I have a tingle in my hair. But for a drugstore powder foundation, I really do like it. After wearing it about 3 times now, I can actually say I really do like the Maybelline. I don't know about the NYX though. Let me go ahead off camera, do the rest of my makeup and get some setting spray on, and then come back and let's see maybe within the next half hour if anything looks better after, especially after setting spray. So I will be back. So my final thoughts are, I like the concealer. I do find it to be a tad drying. I think setting spray made a world of difference with everything. It's looking really dry at first, and look at this. Anybody else, after they use setting spray, you notice like all your little baby hair start curling? That happens all the time. Anyway, back to the makeup. I'm actually wondering if you really even have to set this concealer, because kind of like the, what is it, like the Tarte Shape Tape and, oh, what's the other ones? I cannot think of it off the top of my head, but you know how there's some concealers out there that you really don't have to set, they kind of set themselves, and just like certain foundations kind of do that as well. I'm thinking you might not have to set this, but I have oily skin, so I set everything. But maybe you don't have to use as much, or you don't really need to bake with this. I kind of think that is the purpose of it, just kind of like the foundation. The foundation's more on the matte side, and that's pretty much kind of how this concealer is as well. Now with this going back in, it's kind of making the mess. So I might take that sifter off. Again, this is in light. I don't know if I'm really a fan of this as of yet. This is the second time I've used it. I really didn't like it the first time. I like it a little better this time. But I'm wondering if this just being used on the face instead of the under eye would be better. I'm gonna have to try that out, and maybe using it with a more hydrating concealer. I'm not saying this is terrible or I wouldn't use it again. I just might not use it with this concealer or bake with it. Just my opinion from using it twice now. So I think I'm gonna have to try this again, just in different ways. As far as the Maybelline Full Coverage Powder Foundation, I really like it for a drugstore powder foundation. I really am a fan. I'm not saying it's the most full coverage powder foundation I've ever used, but for a drugstore, the price is right. I think I could actually go lighter if I wanted to set my eyes with it, because like I said, when I first used this, I felt like this paled me out compared to the foundation, but for some reason, that's really not the case today. I feel like it matches very well. I would definitely be using these products in future videos, so keep your eye out for those. And I wish I had somewhere to go, because I'm digging my makeup today. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next one. Thanks for watching.